Let's take a look at solving absolute value equations. I have the absolute value of 1/2 a plus 5 is equal to 3. Now, the way that absolute values work is if I took the absolute value of 3, that would give me 3. And if I took the absolute value of -3, that would also give me 3. So the absolute value sort of ignores that sign, and it tells me technically how far away the inside is from 0. So when I'm solving, what I do is I take the inside, whatever that is, and I set it equal to plus or minus the value on the other side. So I've got absolute value of 1/2 a plus 5 is equal to 3. And this is going to tell me that 1/2 a plus 5 is equal to, I take away the absolute value symbol, I make it a plus or minus of the number on the other side. I'm going to solve for a by subtracting 5 over. So I have -5 becomes a negative on the other side, plus or minus 3. And then I'm going to get rid of this 1/2. 1/2, that's sort of like dividing by 2. So the opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. And if I have 2 times -5, that's going to give me -10. And if I have 2 times 3, that's going to give me 6. So I have two answers here. I have a equals -10 plus 6, or I have a equals -10 minus 6. -10 plus 6 is going to give me -4. -10 minus 6 is going to give me -16. Now, it's a good idea to check because sometimes with absolute value equations, something looks like an answer when it actually isn't. So if I plug in -4, half of -4 is -2. -2 plus 5 gives me a +3. And the absolute value of +3 is 3. So -4 works. If I'm looking at -16, half of -16 is -8. -8 plus 5 is giving me -3. And the absolute value of -3 is 3. So I really have one answer that's kind of corresponding to the +3, and one answer that's corresponding to the -3. Looks like I have two values that work. If you have something more complicated with like a double set of absolute values, we're going to still solve this the same way. We're going to get rid of those absolute value symbols. We're going to look at the plus and minus of this right side, but we're going to have to double check our answers to make sure they work. So absolute value of 2x minus 2, absolute value of 9x plus 6. I'm going to take away the absolute value symbols. I'm going to have plus or minus this right side. And I want you to notice something. It's plus or minus this entire side. So it's not a bad idea to split this from the start. 2x minus 2 is equal to a positive 9x and 6. Or 2x minus 2 is equal to, this negative applies to both this 9x and this negative applies to the 6. So this would be minus 9x distributing the negative, minus 6. So watch your signs. It's really easy to make a mistake for that while you're going through absolute values. If I'm solving this one here, I can subtract this 2x over. 9 take away 2 is going to give me 7x. If I want to get rid of this plus 6 that I have on this side, I can subtract that over. Just like that. And now to get x on its own, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 7. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. I'm going to solve. This time I'm going to take this negative 9x and I'm going to bring it to this side by adding it over. That gives me 11x. I'm going to take this negative 2 and I'm going to bring this to the other side. I'm going to add it. And then I'm going to get rid of this multiplication by dividing. This leaves me with two potential answers, negative 7 over 8 and negative 4 out of 11. Now, how do you know if these answers work or don't work? Well, you have to be sure to go back and plug them in and see if you get the same value that you do on the left side that you do on the right side. I'm going to leave that step for you to try out. I think that's a great thing to practice, but hopefully this has given you an idea of how to do the solve part of solving absolute value equations.